Here's a question for you. Is marriage overrated?
Why aren't people getting married anymore?
A new Pew Research poll found that 2 in 5 young adults think marriage is an outdated tradition.
Marriage rates are at their lowest right now.
Is marriage really even worth it?
More than half of marriages end in divorce.
If you get married, you have to be stuck with this person for the rest of your life, right? That's why you get married. So that's why it's declining. Why would you get married if you want to have just one partner when you can have multiple?
Marriage is stupid.
Welcome to the Married AF podcast, the self-proclaimed greatest marriage and relationship podcast on the planet. We are your hosts, Matthew and Monica Powers. Aloha, baby. Because we can finally spread the news. It is out. Wheel of Fortune has aired. For those of you who don't know, who have not listened, who are unaware, yes, my beautiful wife signed me up to be on Wheel of Fortune without my knowledge. And some way, somehow, I managed to battle through auditions, get on the show, and it aired this past week. And we can finally say, after many years of want, we're going to Hawaii. We going to Hawaii. Yeah. Hawaii is in the clear for us soon. Look, I got more of that. Look at this right here. Yes, Hawaii. We're going to Hawaii finally. It's about time. I can't wait.
Now, when are we going?
We don't know yet, but they got to call us first. But yes, I was on Wheel of Fortune, won a trip to the Disney resort in Hawaii. We get to go. Unbelievable.
Yes.
Never in a million years.
All expenses paid.
Yes. And I mean, it's Disney.
It's Disney.
Disney does things right. And it's Hawaii, something we've always wanted to go to and never thought we actually would because we never had a honeymoon.
Well, that's where we wanted to go on our honeymoon.
Yes. But
we
didn't,
never even had a wedding. So
we had a elope/mini wedding. Wasn't a real wedding. I mean, there were 2 people in attendance. But here we are, 15, going on 16 years later. We've survived. We've made it. And we are finally going to get to go to Hawaii. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it took 15 years and 2 kids for us to get there and me to secretly sign you up for a game show. But hey, we're going. We are going.
It took Wheel of Fortune to get us there, but we are finally going. And I could not be more excited. We're going to get to do all of the stuff. You know, I hope I run into Kunu.
That's all I think of is
some surf
forgetting
lessons.
Sarah Marshall.
Get my Hawaiian name. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. I don't know when we're going to go yet, but Cashman and Luau. I think it's the hula. No, it's the luau. It's the luau. But Cashman even asked, he was like, "Can we go tomorrow?" I was like, "Well, not necessarily, not quite. It doesn't quite work just like that."
We have plans that we have to do other things before then.
Yeah, I mean, we have people to visit for Christmas and go out of town for Christmas.
What it's like in Hawaii on Christmas. Oh, we could go surfing on Christmas.
We have done that before.
We have.
In California, not in
cold water.
And it is cold water. You wear a wetsuit and you pee in your wetsuit so you don't freeze to death because the water's like 55 degrees. And
that's what we'll be doing next week.
Exactly. We'll be there next weekend to do that. It's just so awesome. I don't quite know what to think of it. I don't know what my expectations are for it, but I can't wait. I want to do the waterfalls. I want to see the volcano. I want to surf. I'm beginning to think, do we actually have enough time to be able to do all of that?
We
Probably
might need
not.
to extend it.
Well, then that's on our dime and not on Wheel of Fortune's dime. So I don't know how I necessarily feel about that. But excited to be back for this week's episode. Christmas is coming up quickly upon us. This will we will not have an episode the week of Christmas at all.
We're not going to be here.
No, we won't be here. We'll be out of town. So we're going to take Christmas off. We'll be back for the brand new year. So our next episode will actually come out 2024. This will be our last one for 2023. And what a year it has been for this podcast. The growth it's seen, the impact it's made, the people that have reached out has been really humbling and amazing and crazy and unexpected all at the exact same time.
Do you have stats on that? Because I'm just sitting here shaking my head like, yeah.
I
only know about the crazy amount of countries.
There's a lot of countries. I'm not going to dig into all the nuts and bolts of the stats because, non-stat people will be like, off. No, thanks. Don't want to listen to that. But it's been more than we've ever gotten, more than ever expected.
Oh, yeah. I remember getting the email now.
Yeah, it's been way more, but we won't talk the numbers, but it's just it's like doubled and tripled in growth over the last couple months, and it's
just like the last couple of months.
It's been really, really cool to see. So we want to thank all of those people who have put up with us for this long and have let this last as long. I don't know how many episodes we're at total, maybe close to 50 or so.
I don't know. I just know that the last email I got was saying that there were more downloads last week
than we've had
than ever.
Yeah. Each week's been more and more and more and more. So just thank you to all of the people who seriously have put up with us and somehow are still listening. Because realistically, I thought, a couple episodes, people like these bozos are no good. We're not going to listen to them and be done. So it's been awesome. So continue to do that. Share the show, like it, review it, interact with us, all of those fun things.
The more people that are continuing to listen, which I still don't know why, but
I don't either, but they're here.
It's like the more people that listen, the more cameras you get around here.
Well, listen, it's we have a very dear friend, Mr. Adam West, who has said, listen, if you're serious about this, then do it. Don't just kind of somewhat do it. If you're going to do it, then do it. So you know what? Let's jump all in and see what the Lord wants to do with it.
He wants you to write a book.
Well, listen, this is where we're at right now. God, if that's what you want me to do, then you better lay it out there for me, because
Let me find a book. I'm going to throw it at you.
Yeah, please don't.
The Holy Spirit's going to hit you.
Listen, he will work through other people. But I feel like that may be just a little bit of Monica induced right there, not necessarily the Holy Spirit.
Not a little bit. It's 100%.
Maybe like 100%. So yeah, who knows where this will go, but it's been a fun ride so far, and looking forward to 2024 and see where it goes from there, because it has exceeded our expectations. I don't know what to expect for Hawaii that's coming up. And that's why I wanted to talk about expectations in the marriage. And we kind of touched on this a few times before.
Okay.
But I think it's important to talk about and to fully understand expectations, because expectations should be set. Because how can you reach where you need to go if you don't know what your expectations are? I mean, if you get into a marriage and you don't know what your spouse is expecting of you, the way the marriage is going to operate and how you're going to be, you may not be able to hit those marks, or you may think that they want something one way, but it's actually another way. And so unless you talk about it and do it, then you're not going to make it.
I'm probably going to get backlash from this, but
oh boy.
No, but this was also this was our BC days, before Christ.
Yep.
My theory was having a relationship is no different than buying a car. So now you can just order cars online. Not like you can't order brides or, people online.
Well, you can't also, there's the thing called Tinder and all those. And I mean, it's just right there. It's just bam.
Well, yeah, but the car is delivered to you without even seeing it. You don't know, I
mean, you see pictures of it and you're like, oh, that looks good. I think I look good in that car.
Yeah. I'm saying you can do that with, the mail order bride type of thing.
Yep. That is a real thing.
But I've always been, maybe you should test it out before you buy it.
Oh, totally.
Maybe that's the same in a relationship, because you don't really know somebody until you live with them. Not saying, hey, go out and live with other people before you marry them. I mean, that's frowned upon.
It is frowned upon. Yes.
You don't really know somebody until you are living with them.
That is true. But I think that's a lot where the real conversations and being an authentic, true you has to come into play, because, the biggest reason why you don't want to live with someone before you get married is because, according to the Bible, you don't need to, let's say, give away all the petals of your flower. As you once said to a room full of middle school and high school students. But you don't want to give away all the petals of your flower.
Because it'll stink.
But you don't necessarily want to do that. And the thing is,
I said that out loud.
You did. And it was fantastic. But you don't want to do that, because if you live together, you're going to have sex.
Oh,
you just are. We're not good enough to be able to hold ourselves like, oh no, it'll be fun. We can cuddle on the couch. Yeah, right. Not going to happen. But so, yeah, I mean, understanding the expectations and being authentically you, that's a way to not test drive every single car that you see that may catch your eye before you actually purchase it, because you know how much the salespeople hate that. Oof. No good. But we need each other. And that's kind of the biggest thing is, we need each other because culture has told us today that you don't need somebody. That
you can have multiple somebodies.
You can just for your own pleasure, but that you don't actually need somebody, that you're independent enough and you're strong
independent
enough.
woman. And who needs a man?
Exactly. But even men kind of have the same mentality. I don't need a woman. I can have this and I can do this and I can do that. And here's the truth. And I think about with us, if I did not have you, I'd be okay. I would make it, but I wouldn't thrive.
Sure.
I wouldn't.
Me either.
I wouldn't be where I'm supposed to be. I wouldn't live out my purpose. I would not be the person that I've become today without you. And it all goes back to the beginning when God created man and woman in Genesis. God was creating the earth and all of this crazy, amazing things. And every single day, it's like,
I had to
that
keep
was awesome.
creating more. It was
He created,
good, and it was
he was
good.
like, you know what? That's
Until
good.
it wasn't.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Look what I did today. And then he creates man. And that's the first time he said, oh,
Whoops.
that's not good. And we've seen like America's Funniest Home Videos, and we've seen videos on social media of men doing dumb things. And I think, that's probably about what it led to, because men, we're stupid sometimes. And that's why he created Eve. He's like, it is not good for man to be alone, because when we're alone, we do something stupid. We get bored and our minds just off into the wilderness and we lose our minds and we act stupid.
Well, I mean, same thing with girls.
Oh, well, that's what I'm getting at. We need each other. Mm-hmm. Women, you need a man.
Yes.
Men, you need women. Mm-hmm. You simply do. Because, yes, you can survive and you can get by without them. But, and I've said it before.
You can't live with them, but you can't live without them.
You're right. And I've said it before. There are things in this world and in our lives men are superior at to women. Mm-hmm. And there are things that women are superior at to men. It's just the way that it is. Mm-hmm. It's why we need each other.
You don't see a man having a baby.
You can't. And I don't care what 2023 and all these people say.
What you identify as is not what you are.
No. Listen,
there is no baby coming out of your pee. And I'm not talking about urination.
Well, if that's the case,
a baby's going to only come out of a V, or it's going to come out from a person who has a V. They're going to cut them out of their stomach.
Yes, because women.
But no person that has a P is going to have a baby.
No, you can't, because your body was not made to. I don't care how much you want to. I don't care if you try to will it into existence. It does not matter.
Those expectations will never be met.
It's not going to happen.
It's not.
Period.
Ever.
It's like me walking into our bank and say, hey, I identify as a billionaire. So you need to treat me as a billionaire and give me billionaire type of money to do what I want because I feel like I should be that. I'm sorry. That's not the way the world works. It's just not. So having those expectations, I mean, come on, get out of here. You got to be brought down to earth just a little bit. So when it comes to the marriage and it comes to the relationship and the husband and wife, the expectations men have for their spouse and the expectations that women have for men. And we've touched on these kind of, before, as far as men go. I mean, we want to be respected. We want to have a partner. We want to have companionship. We want to have a friend, and sex is one of them. We do. It is an actual need for men, and that is an expectation in the marriage. And you go back and listen to the sex episodes. There's plenty of them. We've talked about it plenty of times. That needs to be laid out, because we've learned that, for some people, it may be once every 2 weeks. It may be once a week. For some people, it may be... For some people, it may be 3, 4, 5 times a week. Just kind of depends. It may be every single day. I don't know, but you need to have those expectations. But men, it is a need. We need to have sex. And ladies, if you're not providing that to your man,
somebody else is going to do it.
And someone else will. And because, again, men are stupid, they will seek that out because it is a need. Now, men, that does not mean your woman should just jump on you because it's a need that you have. I mean, you can't just walk in from work, plop yourself down on the couch, stick your hand in your belt buckle like Al Bundy, drinking a beer, and expect to be desirable, like she's going to jump your bones because, well, that's my need. And this, come on, man.
Think of it this way. I don't know why this just came to my brain with all the episodes of sex that we've talked about. No, you cannot jump into it.
No.
You have to think of your woman as a oven. You can't just put something in that oven and expect it to be hot and heat it up.
Preheat that
There's
sucker.
a preheat setting that has to be done.
So, man, you got to put in some effort.
Preheat that woman.
Preheat that oven before you.
And when that timer goes off, yes.
You'll know you're like ready and set and ready to go.
She is.
And yeah, she's ready to go now.
No matter where you are or not.
Well, but men get there in a half a second.
Seconds.
I mean, it takes nothing for men to get there. But, those are expectations that men have. And when it comes to the respect part is, let your man fail. Mm-hmm. Like, let him fail at doing something and be there to support him through it rather than telling him how wrong he is and how he can't do anything right and how he chews bad and how he can't do this and he can't do that. He's got a mama.
He does. He don't need another one.
He's looking for a wife.
Have I ever done something? I've ever been your mama?
No.
I never wanted to be your mama.
I never wanted you to
I can't
either.
fill those shoes.
That's weird. We don't want that. But those are some things that, men expect from their wives. Now, on the flip side, women expect things from you too, man. Yes, you have to actually do something.
Do something. If you want some, do something.
You got to actually do something. Women are looking for affection. Mm-hmm. That's one big thing they're looking for is affection. And they're looking for affection not to lead to sex.
Yes, not everything has to be about sex.
And actually, it doesn't need to be. You need to cuddle with your wife and hold her hand and give her a hug and give her a kiss and just let her cuddle with you without expecting sex out of it. It's not about that. Now, could it lead to it? Sure. And that's a reward. Awesome. But come on, it's not. She wants to have affection. She also wants to have security and know that you're there to protect her and help provide for her and be a huge
safe
part
haven.
of her team. A safe place where she can go and she can spill her heart to you and spill her guts to you and talk about the things that are going on. She badly needs that. And ding, ding, ding. The biggest thing that she needs, as everyone needs, and we don't do it enough, you got to talk to her.
Communication.
You have to talk to her.
Why are people okay? So if it makes sense now that public speaking is everyone's biggest fear. It's like
terrifying.
The number one. They would rather die than do public speaking.
Yes.
What happens when you're so afraid to talk? Maybe not even in public. If you're afraid to talk to your friend or your parents or your spouse, what happens when there's no communication?
Well, bad things happen when there's no communication.
Obviously. It's going to kill every relationship.
Yeah, it's going to destroy it. My thought is the reason why we get to that and why we are scared to actually just talk to your spouse is we have this stupid fear of what may happen and being judged and how are they going to react to what I'm about to tell them? How are they going to feel? And 99 times out of 100, it's never even close to near as bad as what we've built up in our mind. But we have this fear that it's going to happen, and it ruins it. I mean, you have to, those are definitely. I would say, every woman expects that out of their husband.
Absolutely.
They expect affection, security, and good communication.
Maybe that needs to be a new poll, but I think
it goes both ways. Mm-hmm. Like, ladies, don't say you're fine when you're not.
Everybody knows that's oh God.
But it happens so much because a man's thinking is like, if I ask you, hey baby, what's wrong? You say fine. Our again, dumb brains go like, oh, okay, she's fine.
She said she was fine.
And then she's mad because you didn't. Mm-hmm. You said you're fine. That's what we hear. So you have to, it goes both ways. So let me ask you this question.
Oh boy.
We have expectations of our spouse. Mm-hmm. I have expectations of you. Mm-hmm. You have expectations of me. Mm-hmm. Hopefully I'm doing a fair job at least of meeting those expectations. But I know if I'm not, you'll gladly tell me about it.
Yes.
And not in a nagging like, hey, you suck. You need in a
I'm not going to write them all down and give them to you in a big
very
list.
proactive way. So what expectations do you have for yourself in your marriage? Like, what expectations do I have? Like, what are my expectations for me in this partnership and in this marriage and in this relationship? Because for speaking on my behalf, my expectations for me is to, one, make sure I'm hitting these expectations that you have daily, to make sure that I'm there, that I'm present, that I'm not grabbing my phone while you're trying to talk to me, just, doing whatever, texting, emails, scrolling, none of that, but being present. Because I think that's one big thing. And that's an expectation, a high expectation I have for myself, to be able to disconnect from work or from the other stuff and actually focus and being intentional about the time that I'm spending with you. It's another expectation that I have for myself. So I just want to ask, what are expectations that you may have for yourself within marriage? Or what should people be asking themselves? What should my expectations be?
What am I? Give me another way to phrase that. Because I don't think some people understand expectations.
Like how?
Like I see, okay, here's a list. Let's check all the boxes.
In other words, being able to clearly define my role and my responsibility in this partnership. And how do I do that?
Show up.
Show up?
Just show up. That's both sides.
I think it's more than half the battle is just be there.
Yeah.
Just show up.
Nobody thinks that deep. Or they want to think deeper, but it's not that deep. I mean, just show up. Be there. Not here. Here. When you see eye to eye. I know some people have a really big fear of looking people in the eye.
But you shouldn't with your spouse.
Not with your spouse, because you're supposed to be doing other things with your spouse. And why would that stop you making eye contact?
I really like that. Just show up. Just
show
be
up.
there. It's amazing what consistency and just continuing to be, even whenever you're tired or you've had a rough day or you've had a rough time, rough few weeks, man, just continuing to show up day after day after day can go such a long way. So
because if you're going to continue to show up and you're going to be there, the expectation is you're still going to be there. I know things happen. We're never at 100%. And like when I had all the surgeries.
Right.
Some days I was not even present because I was out of my mind on medications or anesthesia,
This is true.
But guess what? You still showed up even when I didn't even know you were showing up.
I think that may be one of the most important ones is just continue to be there.
Yeah, because when you're going to continue to be there,
and that way that it is known that you're going to show up and that you're there, it's going to be perfectly fine.
And if you're still there and you're not necessarily doing what one expects the other to do, that's the next thing is the communication. You're able to say, "Hey, well, can you help me?" Like
right.
If our kids are always there, they will not go away no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
The nice way for me to say is, "Hey, can you make yourself useful?"
Yes. Make yourself useful.
I'm really good at delegating.
Yeah, absolutely. You most certainly are.
Can you help me with this? But in a very nice way of saying it.
Yeah.
Hey, you're doing a great job. Can you also help me do this?
And boy, can that be encouraging for anyone to hear, that and be like, oh, well, they want me to be a part of this. They want me to be here. That can go such a long way. So, you're going through that. You're trying to explain your expectations and what you're looking for out of your marriage. What are some things that we need to do when expectations aren't met? Because I think there are a lot of times, and of course it's easy to say, oh, well, we need to talk about it. We need to go to therapy. We need to have counseling. We need to talk about it. I think even in those situations, when you do talk about it and you do, go through all of that, expectations still are not being met.
No.
So what are things that can be done to, especially trying to push through when you're not getting what you've gotten before out of the marriage?
I think you need to take a look at yourself.
Okay.
If expectations are not being met, you need to sit down and do an evaluation on yourself. It's just like workplaces do evaluations on their employees.
Right.
If they're not meeting those expectations, they're not going to keep them around.
You're exactly right.
So if something in your relationship, then you're not getting it. You need to take a step back. What are you really doing? Are you really showing up? Are you really taking the words that they say and just holding them in, and then you just build up this animosity towards the other person? But having that animosity, is it holding you back? Because if that's holding you back, you're obviously not meeting expectations.
That's really good. It's really good because it's really true. And not saying you're the full reason as to why things are not happening the way you want them to or the way you need them to, but most times you're probably playing part in that.
Oh, yeah. It could be just the way you say something. I've had to learn the hard way of me just telling somebody something. They might crawl in a hole and cry for days because of how I said it to them. I have no idea that came off the way it did.
So we talk about self-evaluation, but what if you do, if your spouse still isn't listening to you, they're still just not seeing your side. They still feel like, and you still feel like you're stuck in it and you're just carrying all the weight and it just doesn't seem to be working.
What do?
Yeah.
Pray.
Bam. That's exactly what my notes say.
Are you serious?
Pray hard. Mm-hmm. Like fervently pray.
Like you should have never
constantly
stopped praying, and period.
You're exactly right, because people go through pain and trauma and depression and different seasons, and more or less of, hey, what am I not getting out of this? Yeah, it sucks right now. Mm-hmm. But man, pray hard for your spouse.
But not when it gets that bad. You should pray for them all the time.
Well, you absolutely you should. But when it gets harder, you got to pray
even more
harder. You have to pray with them and ask God, what do you need from me here? Like, how can I interject? How can I help in this? How can I support them through this to make them the spouse that I know you created them to be?
Those words right there are what need to be said. Not, can you change him to do this? Can you change her? Can you make her better at this? She's no good at this. You're doing nothing but negative talk.
Yes. How can
even
I?
In a prayer, how can I lift them up?
Yes. God, you use me.
Yes.
God, use me.
Send
through
me.
this.
I'll go. I don't like to do, what are the Bible plans? The Bible app. So I can't stand letting people know my business unless it's just out there.
I'm on the same page.
Right. But when I do Bible plans, the first thing it asks you when you start, is this you visible to by myself?
By myself. You know why?
Is it private or private? Because
that's
people make too many assumptions, because the Bible plan that I'm currently on is how to pray for your spouse, or it's husband. So if somebody would just see,
what is going on there? They do marriage counseling, and they have about what? Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, that's my time with the Lord.
Yeah.
That's between, and we don't share those.
I don't even know what you're reading.
Now,
I know you do the Bible
I do
yearly
the Bible
thing,
in a
but
year,
you do
and
other
I
things.
do different ones.
I got no idea.
Now, if you're doing one together with other people, which can be helpful sometimes, like, hey, we're gonna do this $10. One, it helps keep us accountable to continue to do it. But
oh wait, I gotta catch up on like 3 days.
yeah, boom, 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 and that's kind of how it goes.
Yes.
But yeah, absolutely. Why? Because that's the time between you and the Lord. But that's the question that asks is, God, how do I do this? God, where do I help my spouse in this situation? And then I'll also ask is, where's your spouse's relationship with Jesus? Where does that currently stand? Because we talk about the triangle, and the husband and the wife are at the bottom. The closer they get to God, the better they are in their faith, the closer they get together.
Yep.
And it works every single time.
We are prime example of that.
Yes, the closer we've gotten, the more we've grown in our faith, man, the closer we are. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like we're all like right there right now, but I know there's more levels to it.
Well, we keep saying we've always said, man, if people could just be more like us, everybody would just be so happy. But the world would be kind of boring.
It would be a little boring. I mean, gotta love the drama, right?
Well, there are way too many of those
Oh, yeah.
out there. But there's even more that don't know Jesus.
Yes. And that is at
Is
the
your
end of the day.
relationship evenly yoked?
Yes. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Is it? If it's not,
If it's not, that's where you start.
that's where you start praying.
One,
For the
where's
spouse.
your individual relationship with Jesus? Where's your spouse's? And hey, God, what can I do? How can I help my spouse here? How can I support them? How can I help my spouse get closer to you
How can they see
and grow
you
more with you?
through me?
Because, for a lot of people, it'll be difficult and it'll be a tough time, and they'll be going through it for 3-6 months, and it'll just be one of those difficult times where we're in the valley and things are hard, and you may kind of think and say, well, I'm not equipped enough to do this. I can't do this. My family's full of divorce. It's a generational curse. I'll never get out of it. And I mean, we have the opportunity, because everyone has generational curses in their family. This is the opportunity to be the curse breaker.
Yeah.
It's a decision to make.
If we are reading the same Bible, all things are possible through Christ.
All things that are within his will.
And he's not wanting your marriage to end in divorce.
No, he's wanting it to thrive for the kingdom, to thrive for others, to thrive for him. And it goes back to, Isaiah chapter 6. God says, well, whom shall I send? The king's dead. Whom shall I send?
Send me
Here
out
I
there.
am.
Every time.
It's me. Here I am. Because so much we expect, we go through something difficult. We expect God to show up and perform that huge miracle every single time. Like, God, I need a miracle right here. And there are times where he will perform the miracle. He'll show up and he'll part the Red Sea. He'll show up and he'll take that mountain that's right in front of you, that's insurmountable, and he'll move it to the side where you can get through. But that's not what usually happens.
No.
Most of the time, God will show up, and even though you're out of shape and you're tired and you've never been through something like this before and you see no end in sight, he's saying, no, let's get the hiking shoes on. We're about to go up this mountain.
Yep.
We're going to go together. We're going to go up this mountain. He's saying, I'm not going to part the sea, but I'm going to give you these tools to be able to build a boat. The boat's probably not going to survive, but you will.
Yep.
And
That's just having a mustard seed of faith.
Having that type of faith and that type of mentality towards your marriage, there's nothing that can't be overcome.
Absolutely not.
And that's, I think, the biggest problem in marriages today is the missing piece of Jesus.
Everyone is over the top selfish.
Yeah.
I can't understand what's the point of being married when all you want to do is fulfill things for you?
Yes, self-fulfilling pieces of the marriage, which ain't gonna work. It's not.
There's no us and you.
No, there's not. And at the end of the day,
But there's us and Jesus.
we end it there. That's it. And that's it at the end of the day. That it's the faith in Jesus, knowing that he can pull you through your marriage. He can pull you through that circumstance. He can pull you out of the fire and out of the storm because he did it before. And now, hey, he did it once. And yeah, this looks hard. We haven't gone through this yet, but he got me through the last one. So I know that he'll get me through this one also.
What's the song? I've seen you move. You move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again.
Do it again. And he will again.
Love that
and
song.
again
Over
and again.
and over 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 and over.
And if you'll
again.
take just a second to sit down and reflect back on all those times that he did bring you through that, all those expectations that we have in our marriage, I'm telling you, number one, Jesus, number one. If you set that to be your expectation and that your main goal, your marriage will be taking to heights you never, ever could imagine.
Come on, Pastor.
Let's get out of here. God, we love you. We're so thankful for what you're doing. We're thankful for the platform for this podcast. And we give it to you. It is yours. It belongs to you. And you just use it however you want for whoever needs it. God, we pray that you're able to get it to their ears, to their eyes, just to be able to see what it is you can do not just for marriages, not just for relationship, but for us as individuals too. We love you and we thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Play ball.